So we're going to begin our evening. My name is Jennifer Malloy, and I'm the CEO of Royal University Hospital Foundation. And I'm just trying to figure out I think if everyone moves a little closer, eventually we're going to be showing a video. Is it really bright over there? There's room over here too. I would like to acknowledge that we are gathering on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Dakota, Lakota, and Métis. Recognizing this history is important to our future and our efforts to close the gap in health outcomes between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples by knowing what the land and the traditional people of the land offer us. So good evening. Last September, many of you will recall we were presented with 3 outstanding projects, all vying for the $100,000 Women Leading Philanthropy grant. Tonight, we are very pleased to have the winning project, as selected by you, the WLP donors, to share an update with us. There are new donors to our program and many guests here tonight, so before we start our formal program, I would like to draw your attention to the screens to start with a video from our September voting meeting and share what Dr. Manna's project is about and what it proposes to accomplish. After the video is played, please take your seat and we will begin our formal program.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Meeta Manna, a medical oncologist at the Saskatoon Cancer Centre. As a provincial disease site lead for breast malignancies here in Saskatchewan, I've seen the faces and stories of countless women battling breast cancer. It's a fight that touches 1 in 4 women in North America. At the same time, ovarian cancer casts a shadow as one of the most formidable gynecological foes. Now let's unravel a bit about what causes cancer. While some causes are linked to things around us, like chemicals and smoking, genetics can also play a role. So imagine this. Think of your body as a puzzle book. Each piece in the puzzle is a gene, a tiny instruction that makes you who you are. Sometimes these genes can have little changes in them, like a typo in a book. These changes, called mutations, can increase the chances of certain cancers like breast or ovarian cancer upwards of 60 to 80%. Genetic testing is like reading the pages of your puzzle book to see if any of these changes are present. So if a woman is identified to have a genetic mutation, such as the BRCA mutation, then it allows a patient and their clinicians to make informed treatment decisions. For example, this could mean having a double mastectomy rather than breast-conserving surgery, or the addition of targeted therapy, or even having a loved one initiate early screening with MRIs or having preventative surgeries performed.
Hi there, my name is Krista, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. Being diagnosed with cancer is already difficult, and then having to wait years for genetic testing, it's like running a marathon of stress. But do you know what would ease that stress? Spotting those mutations early, that's the key. My journey with breast cancer took me through several surgeries, one of them being a lumpectomy, and then 3 years later, a bilateral mastectomy, before I found out that I was BRCA mutation positive. Then underwent a 3rd surgery for a double mastectomy. Imagine if I'd have known about that mutation sooner. I might have been spared those surgeries altogether. And think about my children. Mainstreaming could bring them answers sooner, revealing their risks for cancer. Patient mainstreaming isn't just a solution, it's a lifeline. It's understanding the urgency, offering a path to swifter answers and better care. Quick testing means rapid solutions, prompt treatments, and more moments to cherish. It's reclaiming control over their situation. We're not just talking about tests, we're talking about moments to savor, to fight, and to live.
Patient stories like these embody the essence of what we are unveiling: mainstreaming. It means that your cancer doctor, like myself, can order genetic testing directly for you. We're therefore bypassing the need for separate pre-test genetic counseling and thereby streaming the path to knowledge. Our aim is swift access to crucial information that can guide decisions and improve outcomes. Waiting times, which were once measured in years, will soon be reduced to a matter of months. Time is precious, and mainstreaming recognizes that. The beauty of mainstreaming lies in its simplicity. If a mutation is found, we then connect you with experts like Tara, who will guide you through the genetic landscape.
Hi there, I'm Tara, a genetic counselor at the Royal University Hospital. Mutations in genes like BRCA drastically increase the chance of breast and ovarian cancer. Right now, getting tested for these mutations is measured in years for women in Saskatchewan. And that delay greatly affects their treatment options and maybe even changes their lives. And that's why we're here, to make a change. Waiting to spot these mutations can have huge consequences. Information is powerful, and knowing if these mutations are present may impact surgical and treatment decisions, as well as impact screening for family members. With mainstreaming, we are right here to help. Think of us as your genetic guides. We'll help you understand your risks and explore personalized choices.
This is a journey of patient empowerment. It's about harnessing information, about putting patients at the center. Mainstreaming isn't just a step forward, but it's a leap towards a brighter horizon for cancer care in Saskatchewan.
Women Leading Philanthropy is a program of Royal University Hospital Foundation that brings together like-minded women to invest in leading-edge healthcare initiatives led by women for women and their families. Donations from philanthropists and young philanthropists, those under 40, are pooled to create a $100,000 WLP grant that is awarded at our annual voting meeting. At this meeting, 3 projects are pitched in a Dragon's Den style format, and WLP donors select, through an anonymous voting system, one project led by a female physician, practitioner, or researcher at RUH to receive the annual grant. But that's not all. WLP is about accountability. The September meeting is followed by January and June meetings, such as tonight, where we receive updates on the project you as WLP donors have invested in. In September, we will receive a final update on this year's project, and then we'll vote on and award the next WLP grant. Since 2018, Women Leading Philanthropy donors have supported projects that have shortened the wait times for genetic testing for uterine cancer patients, provided physical therapy to renew shoulder mobility for mastectomy patients, changed outcomes of surgical care for women with gynecologic cancers, provided access to HPV testing to those with reluctances and limited or no access to testing, provided patients living with MS hope through early intervention, and now through Dr. Mana's work, we are supporting the advancement of precision medicine for breast and ovarian cancer patients through mainstream genetic testing. Our next voting meeting is planned for September 23rd, so we hope you can all make it. And if you are not yet a member, please consider signing up tonight. Whether you have been a member of the WLP for years now, or a recent member new to the WLP program, or joining as a guest of a WLP donor, we hope you enjoy yourself this evening as we hear an inspiring project update from Dr. Mita Mana on her project, Mainstream Genetic Testing, a pilot program in Saskatchewan. I want to take a moment and acknowledge the hard work and dedication of the WLP Steering Committee who are working behind the scenes to drive the success of this program. Tracy Brennan, Lisa Collard, Megan Dubois, Chris Gordon, Rachel Kenny, Kayla Lindenbach, Nicole Payne, Michelle Primo. And of course, our 2 inspiring leaders and hosts, Program Chair Dr. Mary Kinlock, Honorary Chair Rachel Milkey. Thank you for all you do to elevate WLP. And thank you to each and every one of you here this evening. Together, through Women Leading Philanthropy, we are making a tremendous impact in the lives of women and their families who are cared for by our medical teams at Royal University Hospital. As WLP donors, we have enormous power when we work together to empower other women. This is exactly how we are making a difference through Women Leading Philanthropy. Since the inception of WLP, you have helped change the course of care and access to care for women and their families within our community and beyond. You should all be extremely proud, and thank you again for being here tonight. Please join me in welcoming your host this evening, Dr. Mary Kinlock, Division Head, Anatomic Pathology for Saskatchewan Health Authority, and WLP Honorary Chair, CEO and Founder of Hillberg & Burke, Rachel Melfi.
I know that's a hard word, which is why I just got a promotion, so you don't have to say it anymore. I am just the boss now of all of pathology. So in Saskatoon, I have to, not everywhere.
Thank you so much, Jen, and good evening, everyone. As Jen mentioned, I'm Rachel Melfi, the founder and CEO of Hillberg & Burke, and the June meeting is always so inspirational because it's a time to reflect just how far we've come. And I'm so happy to be here this evening amongst so many inspiring women. Every time I come to WLP, I feel like a little bit of like butterflies in my stomach because I know I'm going to be around so many brainy, incredible, brilliant women.
And they're here out in the audience too, as donors. And because I think one of the things that inspires me to keep being a WLP donor is that, and I think my friends that are physicians and work in the healthcare system can attest to, is that the changes that we have seen from these projects keep us going. They give us energy. They see that it is making a difference, and then that gives us even more desire to like try and move our things forward as well too. So I really want to thank every one of you for tonight.
Totally. And from a non-medical perspective, just coming and seeing from the first season we launched WLP and the first set of projects to fast forward to almost raising $1 million 6 years later, and the projects keep getting funded, even the ones that don't get picked as like the voting projects. Other projects are getting funded. Like, there's been such momentum behind this group of incredible women who have come together that are just so passionate and brilliant and making a huge change in Saskatchewan. So if you've joined to be a member, congratulations. This is the right place to put your time and money because this group is making such impact in the province of Saskatchewan in healthcare. And if you're thinking about joining, you won't by the end, you will join. But next time, please bring friends because we want more people here just making this even more successful. So another huge point of pride for me is that 100% of the donor funds goes to fund these projects. And that is possible because of sponsors that make evenings like tonight possible and fund them. So I just want to recognize the sponsors who have made tonight and other events that we have possible. AstraZeneca, MNP, SO Asher Consultants, Bayer, Aspen Films, D&M Images, Encore Canada, Handy Special Events, Hillberg & Burke, Lamothe Strategy and Design, Kenny Lamothe Strategy and Design, Saskatchewan Blue Cross, and thank you so much for lending us your gorgeous space tonight. This is fabulous. And Vuralingo. That's a lot. That's a lot of support. We really appreciate it.
So back in 2017, when RUH Foundation first had this vision to have a program that was led by women and that supported women within the healthcare space, with the goal to transform healthcare for women and patients at RUH. We couldn't really have expected that 6 years on, we are celebrating not just the success of Women Leading Philanthropy program, but the fact that we've raised awareness by awarding over $850,000 in funding to these projects. And we're so proud of the achievements that they have made, and it does give all of us here a sense of pride, certainly being able to be part of it as chairs. that of course does not come without the support of all the donors in this room and over the last 6 years, because it's been your philanthropic spirits and your cheerleading of these projects that, as we're going to hear from Dr. Manna later, how it is that every time that you're working on this project, in between the meetings that we're having during the year, you're thinking about not just the patients, but you're thinking about this donor group that has put their faith in you, and how you're going to come back to these meetings and say, this is what I was able to do with your donor funds.
The other truly unique thing about WLP is the awareness that our impactful group of women brings to all the shortlisted grant applications who pitch their projects and identify the need to support women-led projects right here in Saskatoon that will impact patient care and access to care. We know that these projects inspire many of you, and we've seen firsthand how donors from WLP have stepped forward and supported the projects that were not awarded the grant. So just want to say a huge thank you to anyone in the room who may have done that, and it's just really a testament to the quality of projects that have been brought forward, and really the support and belief in the community of women who belong to WLP and what can be done with those projects. So on that note, I'm thrilled to introduce you all to Cheryl no, I didn't get proper pronunciation of the last name. DeVilliers, thank you. Director of Marketing and External Affairs with Saskatchewan Blue Cross. Our incredible venue sponsored tonight by Blue Cross, and we just wanted to have her share an exciting announcement with all of you.
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. Come on up.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the atrium at Saskatchewan Blue Cross. As Rachel mentioned, my name is Cheryl DeVilliers, and I must say that the most impactful piece of my portfolio at Blue Cross is working with our community investment strategy and finding those pieces that we can invest in to make sure that we're making a difference in the lives of people that we live with and we work with. So it's really an honor to be hosting you here tonight and standing amongst these incredible women who are leaders in their philanthropic efforts. For over 32 years, Saskatchewan Blue Cross has worked with the Royal University Hospitals Foundation to advance healthcare in the province. We would not be able to do the work we do and get to our vision of providing lifelong health and well-being for every person in Saskatchewan without the incredible work that the hospital staff and the volunteers do. Now, we're really passionate about giving back to the province, and we're committed to empowering communities on their journey to whole health and wellness. And today we're very excited to announce our next journey together as we work towards enhancing the lives of the estimated 10,000 people in Saskatchewan living with epilepsy. The Public Health Agency of Canada is sharing with me that 1 in 100 people in Canada are affected by epilepsy, and 54 new cases of epilepsy are announced every single day. Here in Saskatchewan, research is showing that individuals from the Indigenous population are twice as likely to be affected with epilepsy. And further data is showing us that the LGBTQ communities are seeing incidences of epilepsy being 3 times higher in the transgender people than in the general population. So this research is really what drove us to embark on our next journey with the Royal University Hospitals Foundation. And we want to support their vision of an integrated wellness course for people living with epilepsy every single day. This course is going to offer education, social support, and remove the psychological barriers to be able to enhance the life of not only those living with epilepsy, but also their caregivers as well. Now, we're excited as well because this allows us to continue our mission of improving health literacy across the province. And we're incredibly passionate about health literacy. And you will see us collaborating on developing educational resources for the public so that we will be able to assist someone and anybody who's actually suffering a seizure. So on behalf of Saskatchewan Blue Cross, tonight we are incredibly excited to share with you that we will be donating $50,000 to the development of an integrated wellness course for people living with epilepsy in Saskatchewan. So thank you to the Royal University Hospital Foundation for partnering with the Blue Cross so that we can empower people with healthy lives across the province. So I'd like to invite Lisa Korek, who is the Provincial Director of Neurosciences, to speak a little bit further about this amazing initiative.
Thanks, Cheryl. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Korek. I'm the Provincial Director for Neurosciences, and I'm excited to be here today on behalf of Dr. Alexandra Carter, who was unfortunately unable to attend the event tonight, but I'm very excited to be here on her behalf and this team's behalf. And I would just like to start by saying that on behalf of the entire Saskatchewan Epilepsy Program, we want to sincerely thank Saskatchewan Blue Cross for their incredibly generous grant of $50,000 and the IUHF Women Leading Philanthropy Committee for their ongoing support. This funding will profoundly impact the project, fostering a multidisciplinary culture of holistic wellness and epilepsy care. With your support, we will advance our mission to provide comprehensive, holistic care to those living with epilepsy in our community. This grant allows us to integrate diverse wellness practices, improve patient outcomes, and support the overall well-being of women and families affected by epilepsy. Epilepsy affects approximately 10,000 people in Saskatchewan, with women and children being particularly vulnerable to experiencing a decreased quality of life secondary to their diagnosis. Pregnancy, in the context of epilepsy, can be a time of increased stress, making women feel more isolated and vulnerable. In the LGBTQ+ community, transgender women face significant barriers to care, particularly in safely continuing gender-affirming hormone treatments without compromising seizure control. Caregivers, most often women and parents, are frequently overlooked in the current system. We are establishing comprehensive multidisciplinary clinics to better serve our patients, rectifying the current lack of dedicated clinics for women with epilepsy and adolescents transitioning into adult epilepsy. Our integrated epilepsy wellness course, led by our community collaborator, Tara C., will provide education and support through weekly sessions. Our epilepsy social worker will help navigate the complexities of the diagnosis and available resources. The future of healthcare lies in preventative precision medicine, tailored to the specific individual and their unique needs. We want to move the focus from illness towards wellness, empowering our patients to live their lives to their fullest extent. Launching the Integrated Wellness Project for Epilepsy provides a unique opportunity to assess the benefits of holistic epilepsy wellness program within an established healthcare setting. Our study seeks to investigate how this can improve lifestyle, exercise habits, stress, and autonomous motivating factors in women and children with epilepsy, as well as in their caregivers. We will study the effectiveness of this approach across multiple health domains, while also examining cost effectiveness by looking at hospital resource utilization. Your belief in our vision empowers us to continue our work with renewed vigor and dedication. We're excited about the positive changes this project will bring for patients at RUH and across Saskatchewan, and we look forward to sharing our progress and successes with you. Thank you once again for your generosity. Together we are making a lasting difference.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, and thank you to Saskatchewan Blue Cross for your continued support and partnership with the Royal University Hospital Foundation. It's great to see that we're forging ahead with our close relationship. That's great. So it's now my pleasure to invite Dr. Manna to the stage. There you are.
Rewatching the project is really a great reminder of how important the work to improve care of women at RUH really is. The WLP grant was made possible by the women in this room tonight who believe in your project and further investing in women's leadership in healthcare. The project also continues to inspire WLP donors. Since we met last January, 2 donors have stepped forward to further support your work with an additional $26,000. That's so exciting. Can you explain what the support from this group and subsequent donation means? We'll just talk really loudly. So tell us a little bit, sure. Tell us a little bit about what this initiative is. Somebody's going to chicken.
That's something that we're So just to reiterate, in case you didn't hear what I said, 2 donors from Women Leading Philanthropy have donated an extra $26,000 to Mita's project, which is incredible. And hopefully we're going to hear what we have planned for that.
So thank you everyone for being here tonight, and thank you everyone for your generosity. Everyone who's donated here, the private donors. No? Okay. Shall I just talk loudly?
Yeah.
Pass this one.
All right, perfect. So, these funds, they mean so much. Last time we spoke, that was before Christmas, right? Or just after Christmas in January. So at that time, we were submitting all our approvals to make sure that the project could get started. And afterwards, I'm happy to say that, of course, we got all the approvals underway. And with these funds, as of February 2nd, we launched mainstream testing in the province. So that was a momentous time, because at that time we actually had our annual provincial meeting for breast malignancies in the province, where all healthcare professionals were present, and we were able to launch it on that date. So that was a significant moment. So without these funds, we wouldn't have been able to do that. Shortly thereafter, I remember I went away for a couple days on holiday, and then when I came back, I was pleased to see that patients were already being tested, and I was getting results in my inbox. And so it was incredible to see change happen within the system. And everyone was so on board and responsive, and it was incredible to see that patients were getting tested and they were getting turnaround time in a matter of weeks versus years. And
And you had Tara here before, so they must think that that's incredible. So we have 4 genetic counselors for the entire province located in Saskatoon. And so unless before, just to remind everybody, when you had your breast cancer diagnosis and you met these criteria, you would get put on the waiting list to see one of the 4, and in a few years you would have your screening with Tara or her colleagues, and then you would get tested. But what we've changed is that through education and operationalization of mainstreaming, you're able to consent, send off the test, get the negatives. And so it benefits both sets of patients, because if you're getting negative result, they're immediately getting that negative result, and oh my God, that's one less thing that you don't have to worry about. But the people who do have a mutation, they get bumped to the top of the list. So they're not waiting behind everybody else that's going to have a negative. So that's just one of the multidisciplinary team members. So I get the benefit of seeing some of the other work that you're doing. I'm peripherally involved in it, so I can see
your enthusiasm as you're connecting with everybody, but even the lab in Roy Romano in Regina, they seem to be, can you tell us a little bit about how your project has spurred the enthusiasm and brought the whole team on board to focus on getting this done?
Yeah, it's incredible the number of people that are involved in the team. I have a hard time keeping everyone straight. But so what has happened is, before we would have to send tests out of province for lab testing to get done, and there's a cost associated with that. And so this has really allowed us to do in-house testing in the province for these mutations. And so then the cost comes down, and then we can test more people. We're more efficient. We're hiring more people to help out with it. I've had people approach me even on LinkedIn from the US saying, I'm originally from Saskatchewan, I'm a genetic counselor. How can I connect with your team and maybe consider relocating back? So, these are small differences, but it's huge. And so Nick from the Roy Romanoff Lab has been a key player in trying to make this testing efficient. I'm also stepping outside of my wheelhouse, and instead of just dealing with patients and the immediate management, we're also working with our other industry partners from AstraZeneca has been very gracious at helping with doing health economics analysis, because ultimately we need to create a business proposal to say, this is what's working, this is the benefit, and these are the health costs that we're going to save in the long term. This is also that resources that we're going to release from the genetic side of things, so that they can also focus on more patients and different patients as well, so not just everybody, but only those who are testing positive. So we're working already well ahead of schedule so that we can make a plan, and Nick has also been huge in connecting us with the ministry and discussing and introducing these meetings and having these discussions. And so if anyone's really good at business proposals and wants to help out, it's very difficult.
I'll mention that it's like listening to Lisa talk about Dr. Carter's project and listening to you talk about your project. It is the way that I think that physicians have an aspirational idea of how they want to practice medicine, how they want to serve their patients, the care that they want to give their patients, and sometimes that isn't always what lines up in practice every day, and a considerable amount of the burnout with physicians is just trying to get their patients the care that they deserve. And what we've seen time and time again that is beautifully exemplified by your project is that you're giving the care that you want to deserve, that your patients deserve to them. And it's been able to do that without an added stress on your part, doing it alone. Now you have your team to do it. Yeah.
I'm just always in awe. It's incredible. It's very moving. So when you came in September, you talked about the wait list being 500 to 1,000 people in years. Tell us about what's happened since and that wait list.
So I'm still trying to get updated numbers, but I know Tara and her team have off the side of their desk been collecting numbers. That's not official. We start our official data collection this summer. But as far as I know, over 60 patients have been referred across the province for mainstream genetic testing. Usually we see a positive rate between 5 to 10%. Our rates are hitting around 13% positive results. And that will also definitely be a bump. And these patients are not only those who are on the wait list, it's about a third who were on the previous wait list, but these are also patients who are newly diagnosed who meet criteria. And a lot of people are becoming more aware of mainstream genetic testing, so we're having a lot of people ask about it. And if people are not meeting the criteria, there is a program that is soon to open, whereby patients who are between the age of 35 and 50 who are falling outside of that criteria, we're hoping to fund testing for that as well. So that eventually our goal is to, as I said, expand the criteria so that we're matching national and international guidelines for all breast cancer patients under the age of 50. As some of you may have heard on the news, the US task force has decreased the age of screening down to the age of 40 for all comers. Canada has said no. A lot of us nationally are trying to fight against that for mammograms, for screening. Sorry, not for testing, but for screening. So if you can imagine, if we're going to start picking up, more patients with breast cancer under the age of, 50, for example, how does that implicate patients and their access to genetic testing? So This all ties together, mammogram screening and then genetic testing and treatment. So there's a lot happening in this space.
So I don't know what my next question is, but I'm gonna just wing it anyway. So we're talking about breast cancer today. What else can mainstreaming help with for the provinces of Saskatchewan? This will be a ripple effect that because you did it in breast cancer patients, who else gets to benefit from it?
Absolutely. So we're focusing on breast cancer patients, but it also affects ovarian cancer patients. So this project is also open for those with ovarian cancer. And I believe there's only been a handful of patients who've been tested to date. That's because the incidence is much lower than for breast cancer, but also other cancers that are affected by the BRCA mutation. I know you're quizzing me. So yes, breast and ovarian are the highest prevalence, but then you've also got, it can also affect men as well. So prostate cancer is something as well. So a lot of people think, well, do the men need to be tested? Well, yes. We have prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer as well. So there's other cancers that can be implicated as well. So as Mary mentioned, it is a ripple effect for the patient, that individual, but also their family members, siblings, and offspring.
So from today, and I don't know, this is really off script, how far are we then from getting to the point where everyone could be tested on a real-time basis? Like, what does it look like between now and then, and what do we need to do to get there?
Okay. So this takes me back to my undergrad days. I always envisioned that at one point, patients would show up to the oncologist's office with all their DNA and genetic information on a credit card, like a little microarray with all the colors, and essentially we would then be able to target, therapy and be able to really precisely treat each individual. I don't think we're far away from that. I feel like that is coming slowly, right? Right now, even Mary and I are involved with other testing that's not the BRCA mutation testing, but other genetic testing to help tailor treatment so we can access certain drugs that target mutations. A lot of patients always ask me about, well, how do I know if I'm cured? Am I going to get CT scans or PET scans? We can't detect microscopic disease on imaging, but in the States, they're doing what's called circulating tumor DNA, where there's blood tests to detect tumor cells. They're looking at, studying that. How does that work in the clinic space? How can we monitor patients? And so eventually, the short form is called ctDNA. Will that come into practice in Canada? Is that something that we're going to be able to do? I just came back. Being here charges me and gives me so much motivation to do this project, but I just came back from the largest oncology conference. It's called ASCO, American Society of Clinical Oncology. 50,000 people descend in Chicago, and everyone's there for the purpose of cancer care and management. And it's incredible to see the work that's being done globally. And I don't think we're far away from that, but it takes time. It takes money, it takes research, and it's people like you who are invested in this for us to actually make this happen.
Great. Okay. We need to turn, I think. I think we can turn the page. I'm not sure. It just says offer my final thoughts. So, I don't need any other prompting. I think that's okay.
So proud of the work that you've done on this project, and again, I'm going to go a little bit off script. Like, how lucky is Saskatchewan to have this woman here? We need to keep doctors like this in the province. So things like WLP does that because it gives her hope that there's money and there's support to do the work she wants to do. That's why you have to keep coming back, and that's why you have to invite your friends. And that's why this room needs to be like 10 times as big as it is tonight. It's amazing. It's amazing what you're doing. It's like, I think your passion is palpable and inspires all of us and gives us all hope that change is coming, that better outcomes are coming, that in the future, hopefully our kids won't have to go through the same things that we've gone through. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing. It's absolutely incredible.
And I want to say thanks for raising the standard in the province, right? Like, thank you so much, because then that shows everybody where the bar needs to be. And so as people come through, even in the rest of cancer care, they're showing that we're having
our physicians look out for us and show us the highest level of care. So we can't wait to see what you're going to do this year. Thank you so much for putting in the project, and we just can't thank you enough from the patients here. Okay, so we're coming to a little box underneath on the shelf. Yeah.
Little box on the shelf.
There you go. Is that perfect? Okay. So now we come to more of a difficult part in the program where we're going to announce that Rachel is transitioning from her honorary chair member in Women Leading Philanthropy to go and spend more time with her family and focus on her business. And really, this was a heartfelt decision I think that you made after reflecting on your own journey and centering yourself, and what decisions are made, most from within. But I think that having you with us since the beginning, or you and I together since the beginning as chairs, I have to say that you have shown me a lot of what presence looks like, what grace looks like, and what it means to be passionate about something, but equally authentic coming from within, and to do it for other people and not just for yourself. So I have had a tremendous time getting to know you, and I know that while you're no longer going to be honorary chair, you're going to continue on as a donor, so I hope that you will come and visit us from time to time.
Absolutely. And just because I'm stepping off as honorary chair, this is the thing that the one project that I'm most passionate about. I'm involved in a lot of philanthropic things, but this is the one I'm most passionate about, as I think you can see. This is just strictly a personal decision to make sure that I am prioritizing and checking in on myself to prioritize the things that matter most, because a few years ago, I had my own unexpected diagnosis in the middle of the pandemic. Never had an abnormal pap in my life. Had an abnormal pap, the doctor was like, don't worry about it. 9 months later, they invite me in to kind of do a little bit more investigation. And it turns out that I had cervical cancer. And what a sort of ironic thing when I had met Mary. Yeah. And Mary was the first phone call saying, can you please disseminate this garble that I just, received? But it definitely made the work that WLP does a lot more real for me, and has made it something that is so important to me. And as I now live in a different province and see things that are happening provincially in BC with the rollout of the swabs, the home swabs, and know that you guys are fighting to do that here, and wondering why aren't we getting this done in Saskatchewan? This is definitely an organization that we will make this happen. We will make this happen. It's an organization that I believe so much in, and the only reason that I'm heartbreakingly stepping away from this is just personal reasons, to make sure that I'm prioritizing my health and my family, which quite often when you run your own business is not easy to do. But I just want to say that I will stay connected to this program. I'm so excited to continue on as a member and as someone who will continue to support the program as a donor and sponsor. And I really hope that all of you will go and invite people to this room, because we need to keep these phenomenal physicians in this province, because this is where we're all going to age. Well, not me, I'm in BC, but I still have family here, and I have a lot of staff here. And this is where I've had my, my cancer journey and challenges. And it matters a lot to me, the care that people are receiving in the province. So the challenge I want to leave with all of you is, please spread the word. Don't just invite people, that's important. But I think it's really important that you lead and you talk about what's being talked about here, because it's a really small community and people need to know that there's incredible advances to be done. And it's right there at our fingertips, and sometimes things get caught up in the cog. So I think if we're all really passionate about supporting the change that needs to happen, it will help make it happen faster.
Well, we're sure going to miss you, and I think that Jen would like to come up and give a presentation to Rachel. Lisa,
I'm gonna fill in.
I forgot, Lisa, you're filling.
Lisa's been there from day one.
That's right.
Yes.
And I think Lisa might talk about it as well too, but when they initially told me that they were gonna ask Rachel Milkey, I was like, okay, well, go ahead, like, good luck, like, and then you unreservedly said yes immediately, and we're just like, oh no, oh.
And back then, I have to say, like, didn't have a clue, like, the incredible impact that I was stepping into with this project. Lisa, you have done such an incredible job, and you and the team work so hard to make this happen, and yeah, just continually inspired by the caliber of projects coming through and the passion that you all put into everything you're doing here.
Well, thank you. And Mary sort of touched on it, but it was 7 years ago that Mary and I jumped in my office and we dialed up. It was before Zoom, before Teams, anything. We actually had a telephone meeting. And we're like, okay, let's try. We'll give her a call, see what happens. And automatically we were welcomed by the warmth of Rachel, and we were just, oh, please make this happen. And you didn't even hesitate to say yes. And we both looked at each other. She said yes, like we couldn't believe it. But what happened, Rachel, is that you really stepped forward in believing on just a vision that we had for this ambitious project. And what you did is actually help us take it to another level and help inspire, I'm sure, many of the people in the room here once you stepped forward. What you did is you lent credibility and you shared with people. You always talk about it. You brought sponsors in. Everyone you met, you encouraged them to come out and be part of this program. I think many of the people here are here because of you, and then now we're able to take it to the next level because of your support. And we mentioned $850,000 that has been raised and has been given out to incredible projects driven by women. And as we look forward to $1 million in the near future, it's because of your help and everyone in this room. So on behalf of everyone in this room at WLP, we'd like to just share a little memento of thanks to you. For everyone in the back, it's pictures of all the WLP grant winners from the last 6 years. So thank you. Thank you.
Can't say anything else about this because I can't keep it together any longer. So we'll just move forward in our script.
So, I guess we're gonna move on to just right here.
Okay.
But I kind of want to say this part. If you
Okay, yeah,
want,
go ahead.
because-
Yeah.
Okay, so over the last few months, we have had an incredible response to our grant application. So we not only had a banner number of people apply, but the quality of the projects is just outstanding. So earlier this week, I can tell you that we had our granting meeting where we had a vigorous discussion about who we would be putting forward to this group in September. And it is things that I didn't even realize existed within the healthcare system for some of them. So they are really cutting edge, and I can tell you a little bit about the shortlisted candidates, just that they are going to be in the area of promoting shining stars of young female physicians and young allied health professionals within the province that we want to support to stay. So building on what Rachel has said is that by giving the opportunity for physicians to practice in the manner that they believe is worthy for their patients, we help retain the physicians here in Saskatchewan. So I'm already excited about our September meeting. So if you have not been inspired by Rachel yet, then our meeting is on September 23rd, and you have to sign up and invite somebody to come with you. Your voice will be heard at this September meeting for the $100,000 choice. As a donor, each of you gets to provide direction of where you would like to see your donor funding going. And the RUH Foundation team here tonight is waiting to talk to you and waiting to get your information for you to become a member for that September meeting. So as we've said many times, that we are transforming the healthcare of women and their families at RUH, and this year is going to be no different, and I cannot wait to share with you who we have for you to choose for the next $100,000 recipient.
Yeah, thanks for taking that, Mary. Mary shared a little bit about some of the projects upcoming, and it's really different stuff than what we've seen. So I may not be here in person, but I'll definitely be tuning into that meeting to see a little bit more detail about that and also the exciting voting. So again, if you're a guest here tonight, I would encourage you to sign up. And thank you to the members who have been members for the last year, for the last 2 years, or for the last 6 years. Thank you. And again, please spread the word, because if you're not convinced tonight, I don't know what can convince you that this is like the most dynamic group that you want to belong to in Saskatoon in terms of making meaningful change in an area that really matters and is going to produce tremendous outcomes for healthcare patients in our province. So now that's kind of the formal part of the evening, but we do invite you to stay and network and meet some of the physicians and ask the questions that maybe you didn't get a chance to if you'd like to. And we'll turn the rest of the evening back to the amazing folks from Picnics, Treats, for some sweets and mingling before we depart. Oh, we have one more thing. We do have
door prize.
Oh,
Photo.
Photo. Okay. Well, what would you like everyone to do?
I don't have the lens on it. Where's Phil? You don't? Oh, Phil's coming. Okay, good.
So I guess we're gonna have a photo, and if you have a chance to get to see Rachel's photo of her montage here, you will see that Elaine and Phil take spectacular photos. I was saying that some of them are better than my wedding photos. They look amazing, and everything that Phil does.
So everyone turn around, look up here.
3 shots. I can't count that high though.
300. It's probably more accurate.
Oh, is there people down there?
2 more.
Sure.
Everyone wave. Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.